Hello and welcome to Sport Africa. This week we come to you from the capital of Wales, Cardiff. Coming up in the programme, an unlikely hero. Ivory Coast international Sol Bamba talks about why he and Cardiff City go together so well.
People are very friendly, nice, and they make you feel welcome.
One of Africa's fastest women, Nigeria's Blessing Dokobare, keeps the blessings coming. Want to know what Hakuna Kufeli means? That's the motto of Tanzania's football trailblazer, Mbwana Samatta. As the Youth Olympics comes into view, we focus on Kenya's suitability to hosting the Under-20 World Championships. And who will sit in the yellow throne? Find out in this week's Armchair Expert. Hello and welcome to Sport Africa, the show that brings you the continent's biggest names from its biggest games. I'm Isaac Fannin, and this week we bring you the show from the home of Cardiff City Football Club. We start this week's show with a story about a cult hero. Last season, if you'd have said Cardiff City would be in the Premier League, most people might have had some trouble believing that. But they're here and the Bluebirds are singing, led by an Ivorian, Sol Bamba.
Been all over, everywhere I played, I had a great time.
As Sol Bamba says, he's played all over, from Italy to Scotland, Turkey to England. But it's in Wales that he's truly found his place.
I can call it home here in Cardiff. And in a way, it's similar because in Africa, if you walk in the street and you see someone, you say hello, even if you don't know him. And it's similar here. People are very friendly, nice, and they make you feel welcome.
Some people describe you as a cult hero.
That's that's taking a bit far, to be honest.
I don't know. Like everyone sort of said the same thing. We went around the stadium on Saturday and spoke to a couple of fans, and we asked them sort of what their thoughts are on you. So here's a little compilation of what they had to say.
Oh.
We're a fan base that really loves players that give their all for the club. We don't want prima donnas. We can't afford prima donnas, even if we did want them. And he's come to us on a free transfer and puts his all into every game.
It's his immediate impact upon the club, on the team, straight away from the outset. There was no leading time for him. He just started at a very high level of play and he's continued ever since.
When you see stuff like that, how does it make you feel as a footballer?
Yeah, you actually want me to do more for them. It's always nice to have a fan who like you, but at the same time, it's just you have to make sure you please them. And I think, to be fair, they give me too much credit, and I feel a bit embarrassed.
Bamba's impact at the club is all the more remarkable, given that he only joined in 2016, having played for 8 different clubs. This is the 33-year-old's first time in the Premier League.
Everyone expects us to go down, so it's like we playing like just to enjoy ourselves, and it's a free hit. And I think why I'm confident we can do it is last season no one expected us to be there, and we did it. And I think it'll be the same for this season. No one expects us to stay up, and I'm sure we will.
You were born in Paris, right?
Yeah.
And so you were born to obviously Ivorian parents.
Yeah.
I was born to Ghanaian parents and I was born in London.
Okay.
My parents, my mum in particular, always said to me, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be a lawyer. Is that the truth for you? You know, I wanted to be a footballer, but she was like, no, she was not having it.
You know what, funny enough, I didn't want to be a footballer. Mum was saying from a very young age, she wanted me to be a doctor. And I was like, why do you want me to be a doctor? She said, because I want you to help people.
You may not help people, you know, physically, but you help people in terms of you make them happy when you help the team win, and we saw that in the video.
Absolutely, and that's a good point, to be fair, because my mum came here for the last game of the season when we got promoted. And bless her, she, after the game and all the celebration and all that, we went back home. And she sat me down in the garden, and she exactly said that. She said, you know, doctor, I can see how the people loving you and how you are with them, and that made me proud, so I was happy.
What a character he is, and what a job he's got on to help keep Cardiff in the Premier League. It's time now for this week's Armchair Expert with Juliet Mafua in Lagos.
Welcome to this week's Armchair Expert. We have two contestants who can't wait to go up against each other. And what's the stake? Bragging rights. Let's get to meet them.
I am Dari, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I'm here to school a friend here about football.
I'm Kingsley Ijoma, a Manchester United fan, the pride of England, yet to put this man to where he belongs to.
Round 1. It's simple. 30 seconds each to answer as many questions as possible on what's going on in the sporting week.
All right, guys, we've got 30 seconds, and it starts now for you, Kingsley. Who scored the first goal of the 2018-2019 Champions League group stages?
Lionel Messi.
Lionel Messi, correct. Which team overturned the 3-0 deficit in last year's quarterfinals?
Bayern Munich.
No, that was Roma. Such a famous victory. Now, how many red cards has Cristiano Ronaldo received in the Champions League prior to the one against Juventus?
None.
Correct. Which Manchester United player has the most yellow cards in the Champions League history? Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, Gary Neville.
Roy Keane.
Wrong, Paul Scholes. Come on, you're a Manchester United fan, but yeah, that does it. 30 seconds is up. You have 2 points, and Dari, this is over to you now. 30 seconds starts now. Which player was the first to be sent off in the 2018-2019 group stages?
Ronaldo.
Wrong, Samuel Umtiti. Now, who has scored the most hat-trick in the history of the Champions League?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wrong, Messi. Who scored Liverpool's stoppage time winner in the season's UCL opener against PSG?
Firmino.
Correct. Who is the player with most red cards in the history of the Champions League? Clarence Seedorf, Patrick Kluivert, Edgar Davids?
Zidane.
Davids. Who is the highest scoring African player in the Champions League?
Pass.
Didier Drogba. Well, your 30 seconds is up, Dari. You have 1 point, but we'll still take a look at the scoreboard. But there's still lots of points to play for in round 2. Stay with us.
We'll have the second part of Armchair Expert a little bit later on in the show. Now, on Saturday, the Youth Olympics start in Argentina. In 2 years' time, some of those burgeoning stars are going to be headed to Kenya for the Under-20 World Championships. Last year, the country hosted the Under-18 World Championships, which broke attendance records, but which have since been the subject of allegations of financial mismanagement. With Kenya's last senior Olympic campaign dogged by controversy, in this week's big question, we're asking,
is Kenya fit to host the Under-20 World Championship?
In 2020, the Under-20 World Athletics Championships will come to Africa for the first time. They will be staged here at the Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi. The hope is that AFCON Championships will pave way for the first Senior World Championships to be staged in Africa, perhaps in 2025.
It's a logical progression, so we see this as a stepping stone process. I think having hosted 2 other events certainly can help the cause.
The 2 other games would be the Under-20 Championships in 2020 and last year's Under-18 event, which Kenya hosted. It was hugely successful at the time with vast crowds. So far, so good. But 1 year later, questions about missing funds emerged. Kenya's Auditor General was unhappy that the Sports Ministry had failed to account for how it spent its share of the budget, some $17 million worth.
It wasn't really an issue of this money was brought in, this money disappeared. No.
There could be a few suppliers who might not have been paid, but not coaches or athletes or volunteers.
Contrary to the minister's statement, at least one athlete claims he still hasn't been paid. George Manangoi made what many see as his first steps to emulating his brother and world champion Elijah when winning the 1500 meters.
I'm one of them. They promised us that the first, second, third position, they'll get something in terms of money.
When we put this to Mr. Kaberia, he maintained that all athletes have been paid. It's not just junior athletes. Reigning African javelin champion Julius Yego told the BBC he too is waiting for payment over the use of his image during the competition. Elsewhere, the organizer of one of the pre-event training camps says he has never received his money 15 months on from the championships.
We had submitted to them a budget according to their own guideline, and this was going to be about almost 1.8 something. But at the end of the day, they gave us only 334,000.
The BBC also asked Mr. Kabaria to respond to these concerns. So payment problems and allegations of misuse of funds arose from the Under-18 Championships. Not the first time Kenyan sports officials have faced such concerns. Take the 2016 Olympics. Shortly after, 4 officials were charged with embezzling millions of dollars in athletes' expenses and equipment. They all deny the charges. Their court case is ongoing. Meanwhile, former Top Athletics Kenya official David Okeyo is currently contesting his life ban from the sport handed out by athletics governing body. He denies any wrongdoing. So are the IAAF worried about what the under-20s in 2020 might bring?
No, we did discuss that because it's out there and it's something that needed to be addressed, and we know discussions are ongoing, so we will follow up on that, but no, we don't have any major concerns around that at the moment.
A government report on the Under-18 Championships allegations is due out soon, and some cannot wait.
As far as corruption and other matters are concerned, then we want to make sure that we go to the bottom of this and know exactly what happened so that we are accountable to Kenyan people.
Paul Tergat, a legend on the track, came in to clean up Kenya's troubled Olympic committee last year, and he is hoping his nation will get the chance to shine again as it hosts the world's biggest athletic stars of tomorrow.
If we don't give a try, 1 or 2 events, you will not be able to know how to be able to put together this kind of events. So let's celebrate that we were able to pull a good event. We will learn from the mistakes that's happened before, and we'll be able to move forward.
Interesting stuff. As you can see, we're in the laundry room where all the magic happens. All the jerseys from all the different teams that have faced off against Cardiff over the last few years. It's almost time for the break now, but when we come back, we'll be meeting Tanzanian superstar Mbwana Samata. This is Sport Africa from the BBC. Hello and welcome back to Sport Africa from the Cardiff City Stadium. Now it's a pretty special week for us at Sport Africa because we are launching a new Swahili version of the show. So to celebrate this, we went to speak to one of Tanzania's biggest stars, Mbwana Samata. He's been banging in the goals for the Belgian side Genk. Back in 2015, when he played for TP Mazembe, he was named the best African-based player. And earlier this year, he added the most influential young Tanzanian to his titles.
Kilichonisukuma zaidi ni kuona kwanza nafanikiwa.
Having succeeded on the continent, I was motivated. I wanted to push myself to a higher level before I pushed my fellow countrymen in order to prove to them that it was possible. It is easier for me today to convince Tanzanian footballers that it is possible for us to play in Europe because I've done it, as opposed to attempting to do so while I'm still in the local leagues in Tanzania.
Wakati wewe mwenyewe uko Tanzania pia.
After I encountered numerous challenges, I picked up a motto for myself, Hakuna Kufeli, which means no failing. It doesn't mean you will never trip and fall. It means it doesn't matter how many times you have failed. At the end of the day, you must rise again and fight on, even if you have failed 100 times. You will soon triumph. Whilst playing street football in my neighborhood in Dar es Salaam, many people had told me that I was very talented. But that did not change my thinking about what my parents had said about education. Some would give examples of players who had talent but never lived up to the hype. I needed the school in as much as I wanted to pursue my talent. The dilemma was real.
Kuliko mpira.
If you look at my Instagram account, most of my posts seek to advise young people about life and how to succeed. Not many Tanzanians, including myself, were born into affluent families. I have struggled too. I was not born here in Europe. I had to put in a lot of effort to get where I am. I tried to put the message across that in life you can encounter a lot of challenges. But at the end of the day, you will only succeed if you have set objectives and stick to them. I play Tanzanian music to keep in touch with home. My phone and iPad contain music from Tanzania. I like it very much. I even have an Android television whereby I can access the latest music. Bongo flavor music makes me feel closer to home than here in Europe. I would be lying to say I haven't succeeded in life. But then I have a different perspective of life to the way I used to view things. I still have bigger dreams. This is Genk, not Barcelona or Madrid. The ultimate dream is to play for the bigger clubs in the world, the clubs we love and those with a rich history in football in Europe.
Hakuna Kufeli. I love that motto. Might have to adopt it for myself. It's time now for the second round of Armchair Expert. How convincing will Kingsley and Dare be? Juliet Mafua, take it away.
We're back. We left it up in round one where Kingsley is leading with 1 point. Of course, you've got 2 and Dare has 1. So round 2, we kickstart with the rules.
Round 2, convince me. You each have 15 seconds to argue for or against. 2 points are up for grabs.
I'm in a good spirit, but you've got to give me a very good argument in 15 seconds. So you're going for and you're going against. Real Madrid can win the Champions League without Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's hear you, Dari.
Yeah, they can win the Champions League without Cristiano Ronaldo because it's not about just Ronaldo, it's about the Madrid team. They have Toni Kroos, they have Modric, they World Cup winner. And it's good, and Bale is in form. He scored overhead kick last season in the final. He's picking up form. Asensio is coming up. Benzema is scoring more. Formation security team will open play for them and just
Okay, Dari. 15 seconds is up, just like that. All right, so Kingsley, make a better argument.
Yeah, Madrid can't win the Champions League without Ronaldo because it was the highest goal scorer for the past 2 seasons in the UCL. You need a charisma like that to carry the team and win the trophy. If you look at it, brings a superstar ability to the team. So without him, you can't compare with a Bale that goes on injury, who is not certain to score more than 3 goals in a season.
That does it. All right, there. Okay, so I get to give up my 2 points. And I'm going for Dari. You've made a point. Real Madrid can win without Cristiano Ronaldo. So yeah, you get the 2 points. Let's look at the scoreboard. All right, so Dari has taken the lead for the first time, the massive 2 points, and that sets him 1 point ahead of Kingsley. Round 3 promises to be even more interesting. Stick around for it.
Now you might be wondering why the Cardiff City corner flag is shaped this way. Well, it's because they've won an FA Cup back in 1927. They're usually rectangular shaped. That's an interesting or not so interesting fact. Now, there's no doubt about it, Blessing Okagbare is one of Africa's fastest ever women. And she's got a pretty impressive leap too. Back in 2008, the Nigerian won an Olympic silver medal in the long jump. She also happens to be the African 200-meter record holder. Blessing has been blessing us in athletics for a decade now, and she shows no sign of slowing down anytime soon.
I would say my 2013 World Championship medals. My Olympic medal is an achievement, but then I was very young, so I didn't even know what it meant. I would say just being Blessing. Blessing is Blessing, a woman who is very determined at what she does. Me, a long jump, well, I bread and butter. I love jumping. Till date, I still see people as my biggest inspiration. I've done things that they said, Blessing, you don't need to do this now. And I said, no. And at the end of the day, I said, damn, I would have listened to them. I would say the blonde, though. See the hair before you see me and know, yes, she's here. Olympic gold medal. When God says it's over, like, yo, you need to stop now, I will. For now, she doesn't even know. The Lord of the Rings, House of a Fighter, and I love the wedding party. Queen Bee for sure. Everybody on that lineup on the final now, as long as we make it onto the final, it's nemesis. Basketball. I can throw down in the kitchen. Yes, I can cook, so you better watch your back.
For one thing's for sure, you can't doubt Blessing's skills on the track, but her kitchen skills, well, we're going to have to take her word for it. Now, can you feel it? The tension is rising. Who will be this week's armchair expert? Will it be Kingsley or will it be Dare? We'll find out. Juliet, take it away.
Welcome back. It's the final and deciding round, round 3, and here are the rules.
Round 3, the quickfire decider. 45 seconds to push up your score. Remember, shout your name before you answer or you'll lose out.
All right, guys, you heard 45 seconds, but you have to say your name first or your answer is invalid. Let's get started. Who became the first Japanese player ever to win a Grand Slam singles tournament in 2018?
Pass.
Naomi Osaka. How many rings are there on the Olympic flag?
Dari 5.
Correct. Which Swiss team beat both Manchester clubs in last season's UCL?
Kingsley Basel.
Correct, FC Basel. Ashes is associated with which sport?
Kingsley, cricket.
Correct, but come on, you have to say it with confidence. Which sportsman was nicknamed the greatest?
Dari is not on.
Mohamed Ali. Which former Chelsea player has recently returned to the club to work as an assistant coach?
Kingsley Zola.
Dari Zola.
Correct, Dari. How many games did it take for Cristiano Ronaldo to score his first Juventus goal?
3 games.
Dari. Correct. All right, guys. This is 45 seconds is up. Let's look at this score, please. So it is what it is, guys. Dari with 6 points and Kingsley with 4 points. Of course, Dari emerges the BBC Sports Africa amateur expert for this week. Come on, guy. Come take a place on the throne.
It's not like bosses.
Of course, you're the boss now. You're the boss. Yeah, like that. All right, guys. That's it for this week.
What a win for Dara. Congratulations to him. Now, don't forget, if there's anything you want to get in touch with us about that you've seen in this programme, head to our Facebook and Twitter pages. And if that isn't enough, head to the BBC Sport website, where there is a page dedicated to all things African sport. And don't forget, the BBC Swahili Sport Africa show has launched this week. I'm Isaac Fannin, signing out from Sol Bamba's home away from home, the Cardiff City Stadium. Goodbye.